Hi everyone, I'm Krista McNamara, managing editor of ABRN magazine. During the winter months, consumers often take many steps to help prepare themselves from accidents and other mishaps that inclement weather can create. And as the snow and freezing temperatures, as we all know, continue to rage in full force across the country, AudaExplore is working kind of from a different tactic to really help the collision repair shops to stay at the ready for what is traditionally the busiest time of year. So for those of you who might not know, AudaExplore creates data-driven solutions for the automotive industry that really work to help improve profitability and efficiency for not only the repair shops, but also for the insurers, dealerships, and also suppliers. So to help the shops better service the uptick in winter customers, AudaExplore has identified the top 7 factors for increasing collision repair workflow. So we have with us today Don Mikrut, who is the VP and head of MSO for AudaExplore. So Don, to get started, can you tell us what these 7 factors are that the shops should really be focused on?
Well, as you start to look at that increase of volume coming in because of the inclement weather, shops obviously need to be very productive. So obviously getting the estimate written, making sure that they comply with those rules and regulations for those trading partners that they're doing business with, tracking that estimate and repair with that customer, and continuing to have that relationship and communication back and forth with the insurance company, customer, and then really just organizing and managing that repair facility from a productivity standpoint and workflow. Finally, I think the last point is to start to be able to take a look at your business analytics scorecard, if you will, as to how your shop's performing and what metrics are going to affect the performance and outcome with your customers and insurance partners.
So now one of the first things that you mentioned was estimate writing and estimate compliance. So obviously it's very important for shops to get a full and accurate estimate the first time around to help reduce delays. So what are some of the things that the estimators can do to try to ensure that they aren't missing damage?
It's a great question. And let me answer it 2 ways. One, the shops need to be accurate as to what they can visibly see. So there's 2 different things we want to talk about, because with the estimatic side, you're going to have a car that's towed in, that's on your property, versus the ones that are driven in, that you're riding off the street. And so on a tow-in, obviously at that point in time, you can tear down that vehicle and get a thorough inspection of that car. And that's one of the nice things about our estimatic product, is that the detail within the graphics inside there will give you all the way down to the type of metals that are necessary or part of that car, so that you know the necessary steps in the repair process. So that'll help. You can identify whether or not that can be a repaired piece of steel or it's one that needs to be replaced, if it's a weld-on panel or if it's not. So that's going to definitely help streamline the process from that perspective. As far as writing something off the street, which is, again, a 2-pronged question, right? It's very difficult, especially when you got salt on the roads, the snow and debris that are piling up on those vehicles. So one of the practices we see a lot of shops doing in order to enhance that estimating process, it's not necessarily technology driven as much as it is they're going to bring it around back, they're going to do a quick rinse and wash of that vehicle so they can fully inspect that damage. And again, they're trying to write an accurate, visible inspection of that vehicle. So there's no x-ray vision involved. They're going to write what they visibly can see. And the cleaner the car is, the more easy it is to identify the scrapes and dents and damage on that vehicle.
Mm-hmm. And so obviously the technology can help in terms of the estimates, but what about in terms of tracking repairs and being able to communicate with the consumers and the insurers? I mean, we all know consumers now more than ever are extremely tech savvy, and they really are demanding more convenient, transparent, and also, fast, real-time solutions. So what are some of the things that AudaExplore can offer to the shops to help keep up with this?
Well, I think one of the number 1 solutions that are out there is something called Go Time Repair. It's been rebranded. It used to be called AutoWatch. It's also been enhanced throughout the process of where it was from its infancies to where it is today. But it is a great tool to be able to communicate with the customer and the insurer as to where that car is in repair process through either text, email, and photo documentation of that car throughout the entire process. So it's a great way to communicate and create that transparency, because that customer sees that vehicle being moved throughout the process. And one of the things that's nice about it is inside that application, you can set up reminders as a shop to be able to tell you that you need to go ahead and update that customer or upload a new photo so that they can start to see what's going on. And really that application went from being kind of cumbersome to today it's very streamlined. It's Android and Apple friendly, so it's right on your iPhone. You can walk around the shop, take the photos, update right from there as you walk in through the shop, to be able to keep the insurer and the customer informed as to what's going on with their vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Now, in creating this technology, how do you determine what's all going to be included? Do you work directly with the consumers? Do you work with the insurers and the shops? Is it a combination of all three? How do you figure out how to come up with a solution that works best for all three?
Well, you have to have all three involved, because really, what is the customer expecting? That's the first thing. You take a look at what that customer is expecting, and then is it feasible to provide them with that level of expectation from the shops and the insurers? And so you start talking to all three of those stakeholders and say, what is it that you desire to be able to be kept informed? And today, when you start looking at the generations that are out there, everyone's using these cell phones constantly. They're glued to them. And so that communication that can be handled via text and right through an application is streamlined. People don't want those phone calls as much as they did in the past. So if we can do things electronically via text and email, it's going to make things a lot easier for consumers. So we do. We talk to the insurers, the shops, as well as the consumer, and say what is your preference, and start to build a solution based on around those requirements.
Mm-hmm. You know, managing these factors that we've been talking about is obviously a challenge, but it can be even more so when you're dealing with multiple locations. So how can shops who have multiple locations help ensure that they're, meeting these requirements just as effectively as maybe a single or a low-digit number shop?
Well, I think when you multiply it, everyone feels that there's obviously, just like having more children, right? You think that the more children you have, the more complicated things become, and you realize that if you put the right procedures in place and you raise them correctly, and I know it sounds funny to create that analogy, but it becomes easier to have that second and third child, right? So it really gets down to the controls, and so we have tools that we've been able to provide to multiple shop operators out there to be able to manage different aspects of the system, from compliancy on the back end of that estimate quality, to the front end of managing the assignment, to even analytics at the back end to say how did the shop truly perform, and start to show them the measurements that are necessary to help improve everything that they have going on inside those locations. So there's a combination of tools that we offer that can help provide that. But like I said, the bigger you get, as long as you start to build that first one, the children become easy to manage as you move forward, and we've provided those tools to be able to have that insight into that.
Mm-hmm. Now, you alluded to it a little bit. Some of the things we have been talking about were, just individual pieces of the puzzle, but as a whole, the whole repair facility management and also the business analytics side, how do all these tools work together to give the shop owners, a better perspective on how to do business?
It's a great question. You start looking at our products, and I think a lot of people had perceptions that our company, organization has a lot of silos, if you will, of products. We've spent a lot of time over the last several years to build these to be all open platforms. And so what you're going to hear from us moving forward with an array of our products is they're open. And when I talk about open, it is the fact that they integrate with multiple management systems, that multiple estimating platforms can all feed into it. For example, the analytics. So the business analytics, it's great to say, hey, I'm using AudaExplore software to write my estimates, but I can only have analytics on AudaExplore. And the answer is no. Today, our tool allows them to be able to bring in estimates from any one of the platforms that they're using and have all the analytics in one source in one point. So those are the kind of things that we're doing to create harmony in the industry, because if you talk to any of the shops out there and insurers and everything, it really is about being open and how do we reduce the number of pieces of software we need to install and increase our efficiency and effectiveness inside the locations, insurance companies, and what have you.
Mm-hmm. Now, in terms of software installation, what is the process for shops who are maybe interested in coming on with AudaExplore, using some of the tools, or even looking to expand the portfolio that they might already be using?
And that's a great question. I think when you start to look at it, it depends on that technology. For example, the Estimatics. Estimatics is relatively easy. We have a web-based solution. You don't have to update with DVDs every month and any of those type of things. So there is a little bit in the setup side, but the install in and of itself is really a URL address, and then we have some back-end, what we call provisioning, and we'll set up the location, and then someone will go on site or even dial in and help them to get their profile. I think it's more difficult for them to set up their profile. What are their labor rates? the address and get those things loaded in there. But it's actually very, very seamless and simple from a user standpoint because of being cloud-based or web-based in that solution. You talk about the stuff that's going on Android or on your iPhone. Again, you download the app, we do the back-end provisioning, we give you your logins, and you're ready to rock and roll. So, again, we've created these things to become much, much easier. So you don't have to be you don't need a huge IT department just to go ahead and start using the product, right? That's one of the things we wanted to reduce, is the fact that the average body shop person can grab these tools and start to use them right away without having to get an IT guru to walk in and help them set it up.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure that's a big relief for a lot of the shops out there listening.
Let's hope so.
Where can the shops go if they're interested today? Should they go online? Are there regional representatives? What is the process?
The process is pretty simple. You can go online to AudaExplore.com. Then you can start to look at all the menu of services that we have and products. And from there, there's a contact way that you're interested. It'll actually bubble up to the field rep that's closest to you to be able to come out and spend some time with you. Or because of technology like we're doing here today, we can do a lot of web sessions to be able to show them the products and demo those products for them right away. So you can do it from the convenience of your office without having to have someone knocking on your door or waiting a week from the walk-in. We can do it quickly by being able to do, like I said, a screen share and show them what's going on and walk them through the product. So again, I would recommend going right to our website, AudaExplore.com, and you can take a look at all the solutions that we have.
Great. And obviously, AudaExplore has a lot going on right now. Is there anything that shops should keep an eye out for in the future?
Well, yeah, we've talked about a lot of things that there's been some press releases about what the buzz is predictive, right, in the industry. So we have a lot of things that we're going to start to, over the next several months, start to announce and bring out into the industry that will be very productive. In the fact of what it's going to be able to do to help a shop or an insurer or an insurance adjuster, and we have more of those type of things that are coming across. So without stealing the thunder of those departments, because I'm not supposed to necessarily tell you all those things that are going on, we have a lot of really unique and creative solutions that are coming out that are going to create efficiencies across the entire industry, not just specific to an insurer or a repairer.
Well, and anything that can make it more efficient and accurate is always great for the bottom line. So, we really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us about this. Again, if anyone has questions or is interested in more information, visit AudaExplore's website at AudaExplore.com. And thank you again, Don.
You're welcome. You have a great day.